Faith Church, hope you're well. It's Monday, the 17th of January. Today's reading, we're reading through the Gospel of Luke together. Really hope that a lot of you are reading along with us. Chapter 6 begins with sort of an encounter Jesus has on the Sabbath day with the religious leaders who are not happy with him because his disciples are going through the fields and taking the heads of the grain and eating. It's considered work, broke the strict regulations of the Sabbath day in those days. And then to top it off, Jesus heals a man right in front of them on the Sabbath day, does it intentionally. And read the story yourself, but in the end, the religious leaders, it says, are filled with fury. They're not just annoyed, they are furious and resolved to take him out, to kill him. I got to thinking about this question. When does Jesus get angry, and when do we get angry? If you study the text here, it seems pretty clear that these religious leaders are angry because Jesus is threatening their authority. He's threatening their popularity, their position. They have kind of a stranglehold on the people with all of these regulations they have piled up on the backs of the people. It's put them in a place of prominence and respect, and Jesus is a threat to them. They're not concerned about the people, obviously, because they're not concerned about this man Jesus healed. They're more concerned about the rules and the regulations that have given them their place of prominence. I started to think, and I haven't done a study on this formally, but I'd like to. When does Jesus get angry in the scriptures? The classic example is in the temple when he turns over the tables and drives out the money changers. But there's lots of times when Jesus gets angry. You can tell by his words. And it's usually towards the religious leaders. He calls them things like a brood of vipers and all sorts of things. But as I thought about it, and I think this will be confirmed with some further study, that Jesus gets angry when he sees injustice, when he sees people, basically, in other words, being treated in the way that they're not meant to be treated. He wants people to be treated as God intends them to be treated, as people made in his image. And when that doesn't happen, when people are treated poorly, unjustly, Jesus is angry. And it's a righteous anger. And as I thought about this more and asked the question to myself, when do I get angry? There are times when I get angry about injustice, but most of the time when I'm angry or annoyed, it's because I'm not getting my way. And that's convicting for me. And I found myself today praying, Lord, help me to be angry about the things you're angry about. So often, a lot of us, if we're honest, our anger it's focused on self. I'm not getting what I want. Instead of where Jesus' anger is focused on other people and them not getting what they need or what they deserve even, or what God wants for them. Today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day holiday, and it's good, I think, on this day that we pause and remember Dr. King and the work that he did and what he stood for and continues to stand for. Think about Dr. King's life, and he got angry at times, but from what I know of him, his anger was mostly directed at injustice, that his anger was right in line with the things that made Jesus angry and make Jesus angry. He had plenty of opportunity to be angry at other people for the way he was mistreated. But for the most part, at least publicly, it seems like he really tried to love his enemies rather than be angry with them for not letting him get what he wanted. His anger was other-directed rather than self-directed. I would really encourage you, of course, Christ is our model ultimately in this, but Dr. King can be a model as well. I'd encourage you to spend some time today reflecting on his life. Last night, my family and I watched, or listened to rather, his final speech that he gave on April 3rd in Memphis at the Mason Temple the night before he was assassinated. And it's, if you've never heard it, it's a powerful speech. I linked the speech in here, and you can listen to it with some images, and also if the transcript is there, and it's about 40 minutes or so, and it is really worth listening to. Apparently at the end of this speech, Dr. King could barely walk and had to be helped off the stage. He was drained. It's worth listening to be reminded of why it is that we celebrate this man. Tomorrow morning we're going to gather for prayer. We do every Tuesday morning on Zoom, and I would love to invite you. The link is in the email as well. We're going to use a prayer of Dr. King's that he had. It's called A Prayer for the Church. It's a short prayer, but we will use it as our guide. And I know it'll be, his words will help us as we come before God together. Love to have you join us. We've got a good group that comes every Tuesday, and you'd be welcome. You don't have to turn your camera on or even speak aloud. You can just sit in silence and pray with us if you like. Wherever you are today, be encouraged. I pray that you would know the love of God as your Father, the grace of Christ, his Son, and the fellowship of the Spirit. Peace.